meet you. This is Colleen McKenna, right?
Yes, hello. It's so
The
nice
last
to
name
meet
I always am
you.
like, did I say that right?
You got it. It's perfect.
So you are incredible.
Thank you.
Like, I have been listening to your songs on repeat. They are amazing, and you're so young. I'm like,
Yes.
holy cow. Like, it's blowing my mind. So I know that I've done a little bit of research and that you have been singing like baby, pretty much like baby on. But you had mentioned at 12 years old you learned to co-write. Could you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. So my music journey, I'm 21 years old now. So you're right in saying I'm still pretty young getting my
Yes,
start in
a
this, but
baby,
music's
a
always
baby.
been such a big part of my life. I started taking voice lessons when I was 6 years old, picked up the guitar when I was 9. And around the time I was 12, that's when I kind of just started naturally writing songs. I don't know why. It just was a natural response for me. And um, to life, to what I was going through, whether it be whatever in elementary school, heartbreak, whatever that looks like. But
People think that, oh, they're children there, but you really do have those big emotions at that young age. Now,
oh
it
yeah,
could be because of big life, whatever, but like for you, they're still very big and they're still very real. I remember that as a kid. I remember, oh my gosh, like I'm heartbroken because my friend is upset with me, which
exactly.
most people are like, oh, how silly, you guys will get over it. But in that moment, the little 9-year-old you is not thinking they're going to get over it. You
In
know?
that moment, it's the whole world, right?
Right,
And I think
right.
to have a place, you're exactly right. Having those big emotions, big feelings, having a place for that to go, just happened to be music for me, and it was really just helpful and developmental and becoming who I am today. So I think also a really healthy way to just process your emotions. A lot of the time, my parents, I'm very close to my family. I'd show them all my songs, and they would know. People have always said you can say it better in a song than you can with words. But
Yeah.
co-writing, I started also around the time I was 12. Um, I had there was a producer that offered to kind of mentor me by the time I was 12. It was one of my parents' old college friends. They're not in music at all, so it was just like someone they happened to know. And
Yeah.
my dad was on a business trip to Nashville. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio
Yes.
originally,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I saw that.
not far. We drive everywhere, so he's like family vacation. Here we
Yeah.
go. Um, that's how I met this producer, and he was like, you know what? He heard one of my songs. He's like, I would love to help you come to the studio a couple times a year and just, no pressure, just get experience and see if you really love it.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's what I did. Through that, I got connected with several different writers, different professional musicians off the road, helped me record my first songs. And again, I would not be where I am today without that exposure from such an early age. I
Yeah.
really believe that songwriting specifically, many people have the gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you just have to be told that you can do it and encouraged. And I'm so blessed to have a wonderful family that encourages and supports me, but also was introduced to some writers early on. A man named Arliss Albritton really helped me in the start. He's written a lot of Luke Bryan's stuff, and
Yeah.
he's out on the road for managing for Jamie Johnson. But Arliss really, he's the one I can point to and say he took me under his wing and helped plug me in with other writers in Nashville. So that way, before I moved here, I'd already had some experience
Yeah. So
writing
it
songs.
wasn't so scary of a move to just move states away from your family because you already had the
Yeah,
support group set up.
which was amazing. I'm so blessed and grateful for that. A lot of people do just move and do it, and
Right.
that's amazing.
Right.
It still was a big leap of faith for me. I didn't go to college, so I've never lived independently by myself. It was kind of just 18, moving to this new city. And yes, I'd been to Nashville a lot before and I was familiar. I knew I wanted to be there the first time
Yeah.
I visited
Yeah.
as a kid, but figuring it out on my own was a lot easier with all of these people that I already could call and had in my corner if anything happened.
Yes, yeah, no, I get it because my son has recently moved out as well, and he's like, Mom," and I'm like, "Whatever you need," because I know that some of those adult things are hard to traverse if you've not experienced it yet, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and my parents are the same way. They're always there and willing to help. But um, it's been so great. I've been in Nashville for just rounded 2 years, and I
and you
love
love it, I'm sure, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no place like it really as far as just a creative hub. There's so much creativity around music and also, business entrepreneurs, other
Yeah.
artists,
Oh my
different
gosh. So many
writers.
brilliant, brilliant people there.
Yeah, and I'd never really seen that before.
Yeah.
As far as just creativity was so encouraged. I grew up in a great town, but it definitely was expected that you go to college and you get a regular job and you you just do the thing.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I went to a high school, college prep high school, and I was in the honors program. It was really like just a wild card that I didn't go to college. I would go to all these seminars they'd have about women in STEM and business and doctors, and I would come home crying from those as a freshman in high school. I'd be like, "Mom, why can't I want a real job?" And she's like, "Colleen, everyone gets different dreams placed on their life at different times.
Wow.
Some people would receive that later." And she said, maybe that dream of yours to be a singer is still theirs because it's not just yours. It's God's dream for you also. So
That's incredible.
that's
That's
kind
so
of helped carry me
beautiful.
through.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a very strong faith, which is it comes through in your songs and it's so evident. And I love you made a statement, and I may not be getting this right,
Yeah.
about songs that you want to be able to play in the church and the bar.
Yep.
And I love that. I cannot tell you how much I love that. Like that is so how did you arrive at that? Like what was your thought process there?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I love that you asked because you're right. A lot of time I've shared it on social media several times, and it's funny. People always, I guess that's what makes videos go more viral because people are like, "Huh, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
I play half my shows in churches and the other half in bars. Well, that is just a true statement.
Yes.
Most of my time, most of my weekends or some weeks, I spend traveling, playing either retreats, churches, or the honky tonk bars here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Um, and I do really love both. That was never something I intended to do. I didn't set out with this mission of, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Really, just from the time I started writing music so early that you know, I would always listen to um, classic country music. So influences of mine are like Randy Travis, Three Wedding Crosses, is one of my favorite
Oh
songs of
my
all time.
gosh. Yeah.
Alison Krauss and Union Station, Leanne Womack, Dolly Parton's my mama's favorite. So always
Yeah.
Dolly. Those are kind of my country influences. And then also, Caleb was on in the car growing up. So
Yeah.
Chris Tomlin, Francesca Battistelli, Rich Mullins, and Amy Grant.
Yes.
I just loved that too. Lauren Daigle, I think, was one of the first I could look at. And You Say was such a,
Oh my
chart
God.
topper, and
Yeah.
even on secular radio. And I
Yes.
really admired that. I was like, I never thought as a kid, I'm going to be a country singer or I'm going to be a Christian singer.
Right.
Um, I just kind of firmly believed that somehow I would be spreading the message of Jesus, but I didn't think that would have to be through Christian music or through
Yeah.
country music. So I started writing songs just from life experience. From the beginning, I've always written Christian songs and I've always written songs about my life. So
Yeah.
it's kind of been a both and, never really an
Yeah.
either or.
Well, and if you
I,
think
yeah,
about our lives as Christians, it's supposed to be a both and. It's not supposed to be an either or. Like we're supposed to live the same in our life as we profess to believe.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jesus says to I've been praying with this. I feel like it's been coming up a lot lately is, Jesus's disciples were not all ready by the time that they were commissioned. When they were sent, they were not prepared as they probably could have or should have been.
Or
But
felt
Jesus
like
said,
they needed to be, probably.
yeah. And Jesus says, go out to all the world and proclaim the good news. Not stay in the church and proclaim the good news. Absolutely. Like there's people, I do believe there's callings for different ministry,
Yeah.
right? People who are called to the church. There's people who are called as missionaries.
Yes.
Both are just as necessary and just as important. Both entail a going out in a
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
whether it's going out to the broader church and ministering to believers because we
Yeah.
need them. We need direction and authority in the church
Mhm. Yeah.
that can help provide counsel. But also, as missionaries, there's people who have not even heard the name of Jesus yet, and that's wild for you and me to think of.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Even in the United States, even in this country, people have never heard of Jesus before. It doesn't have to be, international mission. It can be, but
I know it's crazy to think that because as Christians, we often think, oh, well, everybody knows Jesus. Everybody's at least heard a Bible story. Everybody, but even though they've heard a Bible story, they that doesn't mean that you know Jesus.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different experience to know him.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not our job to, make someone encounter the Lord. That's all
right.
for him. But we can be a part of being that first conversation and, you
Yeah.
know, one of those first interactions that might get somebody's wheels turning of like, okay, what is this? I want to know more.
Right.
Um, and that's really what I try to focus on. I started releasing, like I said, I started coming to Nashville when I was 12 and
Yep.
recording, working on songs. I didn't release anything until I was 16, but at that point I was like, I've got some songs. I want to put it out there. And
Yeah.
I did. My first project is called Rewind. It's just singer-songwriter country songs, and because why not? None of it is directly faith-based, and I love the songs.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I
Yeah.
put them out
Yeah.
because they'll reach you in a different way, and people need those songs too. But around that same time during COVID in 2020, kind of how worship music started,
Yeah.
that wasn't my plan, starting, which is really funny. God has a funny way of working. But it was 2020.
I'm
I was a
so sorry.
sophomore.
Hold on
No,
just
you're
a second. I think my husband is done exercising and he's probably going to come down the stairs and the dogs are probably going to bark because that's what they do.
no worries.
Announce arrivals. So,
Oh, you know how it goes. That's so funny.
yes, there is not going to be anybody that surprises us here.
I love it. I love it. How often do you do this podcast?
I try to do it about once a week.
Nice.
And it's just, I love interviewing just random people. Like some are comedians, some are singers. So I've interviewed a deaf Michelin star chef who
Wow.
cooked for the president. Like it's just, I'm fascinated by people and I
That's so
love
cool.
connecting lives, and I'm like, well, if I could share, this life with somebody else, then maybe like somebody watching will be like, oh, let me listen to some of her songs or let me, and
Amazing.
I'm a connector. I like doing that kind of thing and I love learning about people
I love
and
it.
I usually always ask at the end, which I'll ask you too,
Yeah.
how like if there's any passion projects or things that you support because I'm all about like oh I just want to love people and I just want to can we not just share that, can we not just spread that, can we not, there's so
Yep.
many hurting people in the world, can we not just find a way to support or even animals. Like I've got a few podcasts that I've done where the person was like I'm really passionate about supporting animals that are homeless and I'm like okay that's great because God created all of it.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And thank you for connecting. Thank you guys for reaching out. Cause yeah, I have the show in Sheffield coming up in a couple
Yes,
of
yes,
weeks.
I was going to mention that. Yep.
Is that the same area?
Yeah, it is. We're about probably, I think, 20 minutes from Sheffield, maybe. I'm
Oh,
not sure. They're all kind of together. So,
amazing.
but yeah, so you're going to be at Sheffield on I don't,
November 7th.
November 7th. That's right. I think I wrote down because you're in Nashville in October, right?
Yes, I'm playing a show this Saturday at the listening room. So
Okay. So where are you
that's
going to be at in Sheffield?
where am I playing?
Yes.
It is the Ritz Theater listening room.
Okay. Okay. I did not write that down. I apologize.
That's all good. I've never been there before, and they booked me. I've never played a show in Alabama, and I was like, I don't have like a super big following or anything. You guys gonna help promote this? They're like, we got it. So I was like, okay. I mean,
It'll be fun. It's a nice little area. It's kind of the birthplace of some of the more of music they claim the Muscle Shoals sound and Fame Studios and all of that. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And
that's
hopefully
awesome.
we can come out and see you guys. I don't know or see you anyway. So okay.
Yes.
Part of my thought process in listening to your music and in thinking about your life and what I knew about your life anyway, most 21-year-olds are not trying to reach the world for Jesus, are not trying to write Christian songs, are not trying to write any kind of song that points anybody towards, they're out partying, they're out drinking. So and I know that you were raised by a strong faith-filled family.
Yeah.
Would you attribute that to where you're at now, or like what kind of like were you the odd man out growing up in school? Did everybody go like, "Oh, she's the weird one," How was that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, define weird, right? We've all got our little quirks, our things. I think my family watching this would be like, yeah, she's pretty weird. Um, I would say growing up, I'm an old soul, if you
Yes,
can't
you could
tell just
see
by the
that. Holy cow,
conversation.
you could see that.
Yeah, I'm an old soul. So I think mentally I'm at least like 25. I always thought farther ahead. It felt older than I am
Yeah.
in life. And um, there's a lot that comes with that. It can be a really good thing because it makes you
Yeah.
more driven, want to get ahead faster, but also like, that just meant I wasn't always into the same things. And
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't really a sort of that. Yes, I grew up in a strong values and faith filled household, and that absolutely influences, how you spend your time and everything.
Yes.
The parents are I loved what you said about, just wanting to connect to people. My parents are very much that same way. So we would, we're a very social bunch, all these things. And I wasn't raised in the kind of household that's like, the bars are bad, drinking is bad, all these things. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, no. Like, you're not gonna, drunkenness is not good. Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to go through that.
It doesn't benefit you in the long run ever.
Yeah, but we're not gonna like we want to meet people where they are, wherever that is, knowing that not everyone has the same upbringing and the same faith background. So we just want to meet people where they are, wherever that is, and love them and show
Yeah.
them the love of Jesus. And that's something I really try to carry through my music, whether it's a Christian song or not. Right?
Yeah.
Is that indirect evangelism? I love. I don't know who the quote was originally by. I don't know if anyone does, but when they say "preach the gospel when necessary," use words.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
love
I've
that
heard that.
because, yeah, who we are,
Should. Oh no. Are you there?
we are a new creation in Christ. Uh-oh. We good? Did it freeze?
Yes, we're good. It froze for a second. I've never had it done that
Okay.
do that before. So, but yeah.
That's all good. I just wanted to pause in case. Yeah, who we
Yeah.
are as a new creation in Christ should reflect him
Mhm.
if our lives are surrendered to
Right.
Jesus. And he
It's
can work
it's
through
it's the
any.
whole point of we're supposed to be the light. We're not supposed to. We're not. And when I think about that, I think about like the light in the darkness. Oh, are we frozen again? Shoot. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think the video is freezing up, but I think the audio is still good.
Sorry about that. I'm checking. I think I have Wi-Fi. I mean, it should be fine, but
Yeah, and I should be good, but who knows? Who knows?
whoops.
But no, because some people are like they want to be the interrogating light
Hmm.
that convicts, and that's not our job. Our job is to just be the light that shines warmth and says, oh, I want what she has. I want what he has. How can I get that? How can I? So I feel
And
like
yeah, as a kid, that's what changed things for me was seeing people like that and wondering like, oh wow, this person lives differently than anyone that I've met before. What is that? And you recognize the light of Christ. I love, people talk about joy. They're like, you're so smiley and joyful all the time. I'm like, well, the Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. And that
yes,
doesn't mean that we always feel joyful. That doesn't mean that we don't go through really hard things and question and doubt. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Everyone's trying to be a musician here. Of course, there's a
right,
lot of doubt.
yes,
Like,
yes,
but the joy of the Lord is your strength to still, um, like to cling to his word in those times and of wondering, what's going on? What am I doing here? And we find our purpose there in him. So yeah, like back to your question earlier, I never tried to do Christian music. That wasn't, you said most 21-year-olds,
yeah,
aren't trying to preach the gospel. Well, I didn't always, that wasn't like my goal setting out, I'm going to be a Christian singer.
yeah,
In 2020, I was 16 years old. It was uh, sophomore year of high school. And I had online school, so I didn't have anything to do. And I started writing all these worship songs. And I've written worship before, but something felt different about these. And I remember sitting at the piano in my parents' house and praying, all right, Lord, well, I'm making a country EP right now. So I mean, the songs like, if these are for me and you, that's fine. But if these are
yeah,
supposed to be for the world, I need you to make that happen because I don't know how. I
right.
was kind of sassy in my prayer. And God was like, okay, challenge accepted. Here you go. And this worship collective happened to find me through local church people that actually the retreat I went on as a fifth grader and first encountered the Lord for the first time. That
Oh,
same group had started a worship collective.
I love
Um,
how God brings things full circle.
isn't
Oh,
it wild? And it was a fast prayer too. It was probably a month later. So they reached out to my parents and heard that I sang and reached out to my parents and invited us to Nashville for a week that summer to record. And that's actually my first two songs, Revival and Gethsemane, were released in collaboration with this group.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Those are like I listened to Gethsemane and I was like, oh, I think this is one of my favorites. I think this is one of my favorites. But there was Reasons to Trust.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I, as an adult, had an experience where
Yeah.
God had like I had been taken down to the to the earth. Like I was on my knees, and it was God. And I really feel like in that moment, God was asking me, "Do you trust me, no
Wow.
matter what? Do you trust me, no matter what?" And as a grown adult, I wrestled with that, and I had to go, okay, right now, trust is an action for me. Trust is showing God that yes, I will not listen to the circumstance and what I see, but I will walk in what I don't see, and I will choose to trust you, no matter what my circumstance looks like on the outside. I will choose to trust you, and
Yeah.
and that song so resonated with me, and brought that memory to the forefront of my mind, and I thought, as a young woman, like, how do you
Mm.
reach that? How do you, like, what experience did you draw from to write that song? Because for me, it was like such a rubber meets the road faith moment,
Yeah.
and I was grown. I was in my 30s, so it's like,
Yeah.
what is it? What experience did you have that caused you to want to write that song?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Sorry, I think it froze for a second.
It did.
Yeah, but exactly, like, what does bring you to that moment to thank you for sharing. First of all, that's really
Oh,
beautiful. I'm glad that the song has blessed you in that way, and
yeah,
that's what it's for. I think God I think who I am as a person, as a writer, as a storyteller, as I'm
yeah,
coming more and more to that, like, identity,
yeah,
um, is to tell stories, and I think God gives me a lot of stories. I don't know who they're for
yeah.
the longest time, especially in songs. I don't know who they're for, and
Interesting.
I'll find out later.
Yeah,
Um, which is so interesting. But that's part of my gift for songwriting that I want to steward well and to use and to get these stories out to whoever might need to hear them, because it's not always me. There's some songs where I'm like, yeah, that one was for me. Okay,
yeah,
Lord, like help me,
yeah.
whatever. um, yeah, Reason to Trust is one of those that yeah, so I've worked with this worship collective for years. I still work more on the behind the scenes songwriting side now,
Yeah.
because of the collective. I'm like, I'm doing my own artist thing, and we need more voices. But I still help with writing their music and doing retreats and tour dates, things like that with them. I actually just got back from New York. We played Old St. Patrick's Cathedral there. It was
Oh,
incredible.
I bet it
Um,
was.
so they're such a wonderful family. They've been so supportive of my career. It does feel like a family, been with them for about
Wonderful.
5 years. But Reason to Trust is a funny story. Revival and Gethsemane were the first songs I released with them in the same year. And it's funny that my first releases were Christian songs when I was working on country music long before that. So, like, I put these 2 Christian songs out, then a country EP, and then another Christian song, and then another country EP. So I think where a lot of artists do a whole country career and then they'll switch to
And then
Christian,
they'll switch.
or
Mhm.
do a whole, Christian career and then try to switch to country. Mine is I've never picked.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just like, I like them both. Can I not have them both?
and I think that makes me hard to figure out as an artist. For some people are like, what's going on? But I firmly believe that, like, or people say, you can't sit on the fence, like you can't be
Yeah.
one or the other. Well, I think that Jesus is in both. Like, it's not necessarily on the fence. Who I am is a Christian. I will
Yeah.
always be that. But the call, if you
Hmm.
view it like a mission instead of just a job or a career,
Yeah.
you know, then then you see that the Lord is in all of it. And I think
Yeah.
taking that country music is where the storytelling is. I'm a
Yeah.
storyteller.
Hmm.
And I use that story to tell the greatest story of all time. That's my job.
Yeah.
So Reason to Trust. I had that song. I wrote it around the same time. So, oh, actually, yeah, let me backtrack. It's been a while, so I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Revival was the first song I ever released.
Mhm.
And that song, it's been crazy to see. I wrote it just as a personal prayer during, again, COVID, when everyone was right at the beginning, when no one was allowed to go anywhere. Um,
Right.
and just this prayer in my heart for the church to kind of wake up, and um, this renewed vigor, especially for worship and for the Holy Spirit to come in
Yeah.
the youth. That was my specific prayer. I had no idea what that was going to look like. And it finally, that last August, I got to re-record it in Mexico, for 500 people in a country I'd never been in. Like, to see that answered prayer was insane.
Yes.
It's wild. The song is released if anyone wants to go and listen. Revival en Vivo is what it's called. So Revival live version, or Relival, I like to call it.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
you
it.
know, but that was so cool. That was my first song I ever released when I was 16 years old. And during that first week, I was so excited. I'd never put a song out before. I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Um, and around that time, I guess I had a cold or something. And a few weeks before, I got viral laryngitis. That
Oh,
cold just happened to sit like right in my throat, and I was not able to speak for weeks. And like, I never had that really happen before.
yeah.
And it was awful, man. Like anyone who's been through that knows you just can't even talk, let alone
Yeah.
sing. So here I was getting ready to release my first song, and I couldn't even
Oh, I think we're freezing again. Dadgummit.
talk about like my voice is finally going to reach the world. Oh, did we freeze? Sorry.
Yep, we did freeze.
Where did it?
You were talking about you had you were releasing the song. You had
Yeah.
laryngitis. You couldn't even speak at this moment.
And I was like, Lord, what is going on? I thought I was supposed to use my voice, to
Yeah.
glorify you. I thought this is what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and I really, really struggled that week. But I just spoke with a spiritual director of mine, just a really close mentor, and um, we kind of she helped me realize like sometimes in these moments before the glory there comes the cross, right? And like to enter in it, what is Jesus trying to teach here through this momentary suffering? It's not the worst thing that could happen. I'll get my voice back probably, but it made me wonder like, what if I never did? What if this was just snatched away tomorrow? Because it
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah.
Never say never, right? And I think at that moment, so much of my identity was in my voice.
Yeah.
This makes me good. This makes me worthy. This makes me qualified. This is how I spread the gospel. And I think realizing at that first moment of release was kind of Jesus saying very gently, like, you did your job.
Yeah.
Now my voice is the one that matters.
Yeah.
you know? And kind of that powerlessness is how it felt, but also humility of being like, all right, like there's really nothing I can do here. I can't even say what I want to about the song right now. But it taught me, losing my voice taught me to listen.
Oh, I'm so frustrated.
Once I figured that out, my month. Um, yeah. So not being able to sing for about a month was really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Um, because that was a big part of how I prayed. That was, that's
Yeah.
all I wanted to do. And the song release did very well. It's still like my third song on Spotify from 5 years ago, which is crazy. Um,
Isn't
but
isn't it interesting? I wonder too, because I've heard that sometimes you can short circuit your dreams by the words of your mouth. Because I firmly believe that your words have power because the Bible
yeah,
says so. And I wonder how many times, like in that moment, this is just me being weird and wondering, but like I wonder if I wonder if God was like, I don't want you to mess this up in any way. So I'm going to make sure that you're silent so that I can speak, so that I
wow.
can speak this dream over your life and I can make sure that this happens. You know what I mean? So that
That's entirely possible. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
kind of love that.
not saying that you would have, but I know very often when something big happens, my self doubt creeps up and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is happening, but I'm not good enough. I
Yeah.
know I'm not qualified. I can't do this, you know, and my husband and God remind me, you're more than qualified. You can totally, but I wonder how, if that was like, because I know in the Bible, they had, God silences people so that they don't, mess up his plan.
Yeah, which is so funny. Yeah, I've never thought of it that way, but I kind of love it. And that is the thing. I love what you said. Our own self doubt and things like that can creep in, and we can say, I can't do this. This isn't going to go well because of me. Well, you know what? That is true. You can't by
Right,
yourself.
right, right.
Like I can't do anything by myself. It is only by the power of God that qualifies us. Um, and to remember that was really important. It is funny though too, because I thought it'd be a one and done lesson. It happened again that summer when I released that next following summer. So I released Revival November. That following June when I released my country EP, it happened too. So the spiritual attack is not just for the Christian songs.
Mm.
That's how you know that God is in both, and both are important.
Yes,
They matter,
yes,
right?
yes. Yeah.
Crazy. Lost my voice both times. Hasn't happened since. We'll see. We'll pray that it doesn't.
You're like,
But
now you anticipate every release. You're kind of like, oh.
I've released a lot of songs. So like,
Yeah.
but reason to trust that first we're getting back. I promise it all connects.
No, no, no. You're perfectly fine.
reason to trust came from that moment of like, initially, I love that song because it is honestly so personal that I never thought I would release it. I really thought this one is not,
This is
that's
just
too
for you.
personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wrote that song. That was the first song that I sat down and wrote when my voice came back after Revival had been released.
Mm.
And not trying to make another worship song or anything like that. Like it just came, and it was my personal prayer of, if you took everything from me, would I still love you? If I had only what I need, would I be okay? If my voice was suddenly gone, would my heart still sing a song of your praise? That's why that lyric is there.
I cannot emphasize enough how that phrase is literally what spoke to my heart. And
Wow.
like, if you lost everything, would you still love me? If you lost everything, would you still trust me? If I took your children away, if I did, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, and
And it's a hard prayer to pray. I was,
it's
it
so,
was,
and I really feel like it was a defining moment. Like from that moment forward, I knew God had me and I had Him, and that
yeah.
was necessary.
Yeah.
That
And
was
it does take coming to a place of intense vulnerability, whether it is physically losing everything, or even for me, people will be like, losing your voice isn't that huge of a thing. And you're right, it's not tragedy. But for me, it wasn't a piece of
yeah.
my
But if
identity.
you're a singer, it is. Like if you're, it's just like my husband is not. He does not have stage fright at all. And every
Wow.
time I have to get up in front of people, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
and I have to, I have a nervous bladder. I have to go pee 500 times. I have to, he's just like, honey, what is wrong with you? And I'm just like, this is just
Mhm.
I'm not as brave as that. I just can't
Yeah.
just, and I think every individual is different and God speaks to us each on our own level,
Right.
and anyway, I know we're
Absolutely.
getting close to the end, but before we wrap up, what is the thing that pulls at your heart? I know obviously you're called to music, but what if you could tell everybody, like, hey, I want you to go support this group, this organization, they are doing good things, like what would that be?
Yeah, wow, that's such a great question. I love it. I have many loves. Music, Jesus is number one, always.
Yeah,
Music, I would say, like, I do have that's what the Lord has called me to right now, and I'll be doing that as long as I possibly can because I love it.
you're so
Um, and trying to find ways to give back, even though I am
Mhm.
really young. There's not a lot of ways that I can give back, like financially yet, things
Yeah,
like that. But time and talent is something that's really important to me. And from the beginning, I viewed this music thing that I do as a mission, and I use the term musical missionary not lightly at all.
yeah.
The worship collective I'm a part of is very mission focused. So like I spend
Now,
Holy Week.
is the worship collective like a nonprofit? Is it like a
Yeah,
okay?
it's called Regnum Christi Music Collective.
Okay.
Um, and Regnum Christi basically is like to Regnum Christi stands for Reign of Christ, so build the kingdom of God.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, but basically, like through them, we'll go do missions. I was in Italy this summer. We took our guitars out into the plaza and just prayed and worshipped with people.
Really a
Um,
stunning
but the same thing, I do have a heart for homeless ministry. That has been a big thing, and actually, one of my next songs that I'm working on right now is about, like I said, stories about this encounter with a man that I met just on the steps of a cathedral, and was just talking with him for a while, and it really shifted my perspective. And you see some wild things, and um, it's really difficult in wondering like how can you help. So yeah, I would say like even local places,
yeah,
St. Vincent de Paul is a great one. Local nonprofits that help with your
homelessness.
city and your town and homeless ministry. That's something that's close to my heart. Also, I do love to give back in the music sense of things. So, another nonprofit group I've worked with pretty closely, it's called Inspire Aspen Foundation. They're actually out in Colorado. I've been there several times now, but their studio, Mad Dog Ranch and Recording Studio, it's Glenn Fry used to own it of the Eagles, and then Jimmy
Yeah,
Buffett owned it
yeah.
for a while. It's a really legendary space. But what they do is they have like a American Idol style songwriting singing competition for local kids, and there's an adult one also to win a grant to go and record in the studio. And I've done some mentorship stuff with them, um, which has been really amazing, songwriting with the kids and just helping in whatever way I can. So that's another like cause close to my heart is local music programs.
Wonderful.
Um,
I
so
love it.
yeah, and just again trying to meet people where they are, wherever that is. That's just kind of what comes to mind right now. But
Well, I have enjoyed this so much. We definitely are going to have to do this again. Like,
oh, absolutely, I would love that. Well, I'll
definitely.
be in Alabama soon, so.
Well, I'm excited. Yes, she's coming to Alabama, Sheffield, Alabama,
Mhm.
November the
7th.
and it's going to be in the help
It's
me.
the Ritz Studio Listening Room. So the Ritz Theater, I've actually never been. This is just what I've heard, based on the booking email. But yeah, the Ritz Theater in Sheffield has a studio listening room. So it's a smaller, more intimate venue. It'll be songwriter style. So if any of y'all have heard of Nashville, like the Bluebird Cafe or the Listening Room,
Yes,
those
yes.
writer style showcases, I play those a lot. I'm playing the Listening Room this Saturday, which will be fun. Um, it's that model of a show. So it'll be me with a guitar, maybe a second guitarist.
Where do they get tickets at?
Yes, it should be on the website. Just look up Rit Studio Listening Room. You can find tickets there. Also on my website, you can find me on social media. My handle is at cd.mckenna. That's easy to remember because it's my initials. But CDs are where you used to listen to music, and I'm a place you can listen to music.
Hey,
Haha.
there you go.
Pretend that was
There
funny.
you go. I
It's a
love
bad
it.
joke,
Love
but
it.
like,
I
it'll
love
help
it.
you remember. So
No, I love
cd.mckenna. And then my website is colleen-mckenna.com. So colleen/mckenna.com.
And
You
I'll
can
put
also.
all of that in the comments and all that as well, or notes.
Amazing. Yes, I would love to see y'all there. I'm really excited. It'll be my first
Mhm.
time to Alabama. Should be a
It'll
good
be
time.
fun. It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Yeah,
And you guys come out and see her. You have to do it. Thank you
for
so
sure.
much.
Thank you so much. This was such a joy. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for providing the space to share a little bit of my story, my music. I can't wait to see you on the 7th, I hope.
Yes, I know. I know. We'll be there. We'll be there. Bye.
Sounds great. Have a wonderful day. Bye.